I know sometimes in your writing you can be considered as controversial.
Yes.
A year or so ago, you wrote a book on world-class risk management. And then you said in your blogging that, in your humble opinion, the guidance in your book is superior to that provided by COSO ERM and also ISO, the International Standards Organization. Why do you feel that way?
I was very lucky, Jay. I've been able to surround myself with thought leaders in the profession from all around the world, including the grandfather of ISO, Grant Purdy in Australia.
Australia, yes.
To people in Singapore who are thought leaders in financial risk management, and people in Canada. And they have basically helped me with my thinking, and they were kind enough to be a panel of reviewers of the book. So it was really an opportunity to take the work that had been done by ISO and COSO back in 2004, and the work that I've been doing, talking and listening especially to practitioners, board members, and executives around the world, and talk about what I think would work. Like I said, using plain English, focusing on achieving success, focusing on how you actually make decisions. That has taken us to this point. One of the things which I was hoping was that COSO would take this opportunity, and ISO the same thing, to be a true thought leadership paper, a true thought leadership document. Unfortunately, for whatever reason, I don't think they have tried to set out a framework and guidance that will lead people to the best-in-class risk management. They have moved the needle somewhat from their 2004 and upgraded it to include some other things, but they haven't taken it as far as leading risk management people are taking things today. So the best risk management professionals are using similar discipline to look at all the potential consequences, both good and bad. They recognize there's a range of possibilities, and they've been doing this for a long time. It's just not there, and perhaps part of this is reflective of the fact that risk management is not mature. COSO has, and others have worked with Professor Mark Beasley at the North Carolina State University's ERM initiative, and it's revealing to look at their results. In 2010, they did a study and they asked risk officers, risk practitioners, how mature their program was. 3.4% said it was mature, really good. 3.4. Move it forward 6 years to 2016. So it came out this year, and it's gone from 3.4 to 5%.
Wow. I didn't realize that.
So it's up 50%, but it's still only 5%. So this is part of the problem, because the people who are included in the 5% need to be writing the guidance. I'm not sure that's always the case. And it's not necessarily going to be easy to write guidance that is going to take people to what can be, if you like, world-class risk management. What I tried to do in my book was to talk about what would constitute world-class, but do it using a maturity model so that people could look at where they were and see whether that's where they're comfortable being. Because, there's a cost to moving up the maturity scale, and including all of the, using all of the tools and techniques and the resources. And if your risk is fairly, it's not very dynamic, it doesn't change very much, and you've got well-trained people, perhaps you don't need to invest a lot. On the other hand, if you have a very dynamic environment and things are changing constantly, your competitors are very active, then you probably need to spend a lot more time thinking about the quality of decision-making and whether it's going to enable your organization to be agile because agility is a consequence of really thinking through what might happen and building the capacity to deal with it. So I think that I'm not sure I'd necessarily give, I mean, there are board members I would give the book to because I'm told it's an easy read. And in fact, it's got some very nice reviews. And you mentioned I try to be controversial. One of the things that frustrates me is I write all of this provocative stuff and everybody agrees with me. And that seems to be the case with this book, is that people are picking it up, finding it, like I said, easy to read, and trying to adopt it and finding it works. And in that case, that's wonderful. But like I said, even though it's now a couple of years since I wrote that book,
mm-hmm.
what I put in there is perhaps current best practice, maybe even leading best practice. It's difficult to get frameworks and standards to explain and describe as the best practice, leading practice situation.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, until you get there, you're going to have this gap where board members, chief executives, CFOs cannot see the value in risk management because they can't see how it's helping them be successful. It doesn't help them achieve what matters to them,
mm-hmm.
right? Which is getting my number.
Yeah, business success, growth, opportunity.
Yeah, when the CEO says, I've got a very important strategy meeting, I need you, CRO, to be there because you are business focused, you understand the business, you understand what we're trying to do, you understand the realities, and that sometimes we have to take risk in order to be successful, but it's about helping me, you help me make sure I've got the right information so I'm making the right decision in terms of what we're going to do going forward. Unfortunately, that's not the way many CROs are seen.